Work safety at operations of metal surface. For the metal products not to get rusted, eroded, spoiled, and to seem better or to shine, their surfaces are processed in some ways. When the use of the metal product increase, some sort of varieties are observed at the surface operations in order to meet the demands of consumers. The surface operations applied on the metal surfaces increase the strength of the products, ease their usage, and make the appearance aesthetical. The most important protection method of metals is to dye them against getting rusted. Almost every industrial workplace has got painting unit. The sequence of operations to paint the surface of metal is generally as follows. Preparing the surface, cleaning the surfaces, lining, puttying, painting. Preparing the surface, cleaning the surfaces. Cleaning with the wire brushes. Cleaning the material surfaces is analyzed in two groups, by hand and by motor. Being the parts to be cleaned in the fabrication production, a lot requires working with motor. But having a few parts in the small enterprises requires using the wire brushes. There are three types of wire brushes consisting of manual brushes, fixed engine, and moving engine brushes. While working with a wire brush, stable gloves must be worn for the brush not to damage the hand. And glasses and masks should be used for the dust spreading from the material sawdust not to insert into eyes and respiratory tract. Cleaning with corundum. The first method to be used for cleaning the surface and smoothing it is the grinding paper, consisting of the materials like paper or cloth covered by corrosives, or the machine application of the corundum bands supported by engine. Sorts of sanders. Sanders according to their shapes are named as roller, plate, disc brush, and profile sanders. They are divided into two groups according to usage, named as hand sanders and machine sanders. Sanding operation can be carried out by hand or by machine. In case of sanding by hand, dust masks should be worn not to breathe the sawdust spreading from the metal surfaces. And protective gloves must be worn not to wear the hands. Furthermore, the environment where sanding operation is performed should be lighted and ventilated sufficiently. At the operation by machine, the basic risk in terms of work health and safety is that the sanding part moving at the high speed tangles the dresses and hair of the workers or damages them due to touching the moving equipment directly. Therefore, the protector of sanding machines shouldn't be removed, and it requires to leave an area open only as much as necessary. The work safety measures while sanding with sanding machine. The machine which is broken and can't function completely or don't have protector shouldn't be used definitely. Working area should be clean and well lighted before starting to sand. The foreign objects like nails, screws, etc. existing on the material that will get sanded should be cleaned. The machines, the on-off switch of which doesn't operate, mustn't be used. Before plugging the machine, you should be sure that the machine button must be off. Burnable liquids and the easily flashing materials shouldn't exist at the working area. Protective glasses and gloves should be worn while working. Suitable dust mask ought to be used while working. Tight dress must be worn and the sleeves should be turned inside. Machines should only be used relevantly. The operating machines shouldn't be left given rein. The moving grinding wheel mustn't be touched. The metal parts of machine shouldn't be touched after a long period operation. While replacing the grinding wheel or disc, you must be sure that sanding machine is turned off and it is disconnected with the power supply. The protectors removed during maintenance and repair. Working should be mounted before starting the work. Machines should never be abandoned while operating during breaks and rests, and they must be turned off, and you must wait for the sand to stop completely in case the machine breaks down. It should be stopped immediately, and the maintaining supervisor must be informed. Safety of the ones around are as important as the workers. When a situation opposite to work health and safety happens, manager or the team of work safety should be informed. Measures of work safety to be taken while working at the fixed and moving grinding machines. There should exist proper grinding and cutting disc protector at all the moving and fixed grinding and cutting machines. The grinding mouth mustn't be more than 180 degrees at the moving ones, and more than 90 degrees at the fixed ones. Using these tools is definitely forbidden without protector. The persons grinding and cutting should use suitable grinding glasses or face shields in order to protect their eyes from the dashing sawdust burrs and dusts. These glasses must be the glasses either completely covered with plastic frames or having side covers with celluloid frames. The original characteristics of the glasses and face shields shouldn't be spoiled if they have got their heat transfer plates, and the side covers mustn't be removed. In addition, if there is a problem concerning the hot sparkles, glove, overall, and dust mask should be worn while working with the moving tools in a covered place for a long time. Suitable mechanical filtered dust masks must be used. An adjustable piece plank should exist on the fixed benches in front of the grinding to put the part to get grinded on it and to work in safety. And the distance between this plank and grinding should be adjusted to be maximum 3 mm on the fixed benches. An aspiration equipment should exist in order to absorb the dusts and gases that can appear during the grinding and cutting operation from their outlet, collect them and throw out. Machine shouldn't be used without operating this apparatus. It mustn't be operated at a higher speed than written on the disc. You shouldn't try to reach at something over or around the moving discs. Disc grinders should have the necessary durableness, and it must be taken into a suitable protector against the pieces that can rush out of the grinder. The disc grinders to be tied onto the bench must be suitable to the characteristics of the working bench. The cycle number of the grinder shouldn't be higher than the benches. These tools shouldn't be used near the easily inflammable matters like paper, sawdust, burnable fibers, and the burnable and flaming liquids and gases. Otherwise, fire danger can occur. Cleaning with sand. Sanding is another method which is used for preparing the surface for the painting operation, while using the grinding operation for the small and a few parts. Sanding method is used for the large size plain surfaces and for many small parts. Basically, sanding is to throw by means of the high pressure air onto the part, steel grit, basalt, silica sand, quartz, etc., and to erode the layer on the part, rust, dirt, etc. Sanding operation is usually carried out by the sanding machines. The workers complete the sanding operation for the places where the sanding machine can't reach it by the hand gun. When the sanding operation is considered in terms of work health and safety, it requires to be careful for especially a few basic subjects. Ground becomes slippery due to the sands thrown away by the sanding machine. Therefore, the places where sand spread around should be closed, and warning signs must be put for the possible slippery ground. At the machines by which the large size parts are sanded, the part is moving, but the platform of the machine is moving while sanding the small size parts. When it is considered in terms of work health and safety, it can be mentioned that the turning tray of some sanding machines have got the touching risk with the machine. However, the matter to be careful the most is that the necessary measures should be taken not to open the cover during the operation of the machine. Portable sanding is performed in the workplaces where the sand of machine can't reach or where there isn't sanding machine. At the portable sanding operation, it is inevitable for the sand to spread around. Therefore, it is very important to insulate the area where sanding is carried out, and to carry out the environment cleaning after the working in term of work safety. The personnel who will perform portable sanding should wear a full body protector and be trained on the work done. Cleaning by chemical methods. It is a very effective surface cleaning method, especially to clean the rust on the metal surfaces. If the parts the surface of which will be cleaned are the elaborated ones, and if they have got spaces according to their design, since grinding and sanding method can't be used for cleaning, these parts are inserted into the acid solutions having suitable concentrations, and the dirt and rust on their surface are removed. Furthermore, the adherence power of paint on the surface is increased by opening micron-level pores on the metal surface by this method. Nowadays, many products have been developed for cleaning the metal surfaces by chemical way. Application is performed with hand by means of a piece of cloth cleaning the metal surface and with immersion method in the metal cleaning bathrooms. This method is commonly used at the sectors where visuality stands out more, especially at the automotive sector. In the chemical cleaning method, gloves, overall, and mask should be worn against acid vapor, and the environment where you work should be ventilated as much as possible. At the immersion operation, the pools used are generally hot, and the chemicals used evaporate and spread into the environment. When it is considered in terms of work health and safety, the first priority is to prevent falling into the immersion pools. For this reason, double lane, as main and intermediate, railings which are produced high enough must be used. Maintaining the cranes performing the loading and unloading operation to the pools should be noticed. Their hooks, safety catches must be checked before starting the work. Furthermore, using the necessary warning and caution signs in the working environment is one of the subjects which must be noticed the most. Lining and puttying. While painting the metals, the second stage is the operation of priming and puttying in order to precipice for eliminating the roughnesses and painting the last layer. This stage is usually used at the productions where visuality isn't very important. Objectives of the primer operation is to eliminate the surface roughnesses occurred during production, to prepare the surface for the last layer of paint, to assure a good connection, to give brightness for the top coat paint, to prevent the oxidation. It extends the usage life of paint and the applied material, if it is wanted for the metal surface to be more beautiful and bright from the aesthetical aspect. Priming isn't sufficient to close the deep burrs on the metal surface. The roughness is caused by the method of grinding and sanding. In this case, puttying operation requires to apply in order to provide a good undersurface before the painting operation. At the puttying operation, spatula or gun is used according to the method to putty. When it is considered in terms of work health and safety, the most basic matter is to ventilate the environment where puttying is carried out. Since the ignition temperatures of the chemicals used while puttying are low, there mustn't exist any igniter factors, portable heater, cigarettes, plug socket combination making arc around. The employers should be presented the necessary trainings about the risks concerning them, and warning signs must be hung. Especially the polyester putties and hardener react and cause fire. If these types of putties are used, putty and hardener shouldn't be kept in the same container. Painting. Painting is to cover the metal surfaces with the chemicals in order to save or make them aesthetical. Many metal products are put through painting operation at the final stages of their production. Blasting, immersion, and applying with brush are the painting methods intensively used at industry. Occupational health and safety measures to be taken at painting operations. The chemicals used should be examined in accordance with the explosion, flaming, fire hazards, and the information in the material safety knowledge forms. The workers must be informed on the hazards that the paints can cause. Fire can start due to the igniting sources like electricity, working with fire, cigarettes, light or flame, static electricity, and the hot surfaces. At the fires caused by paint, the extinguishers having dry chemical powder, alcohol-resistant chemical foam, and carbon dioxide should be used. In case of using water, fire isn't put out, contrarily it spreads. In order to protect from fire, the pointing guns must have static electrical grounding. The walls of the workplaces where workers work with flammable, explosive, and burnable materials should be resistant against fire. In order to be able to prevent the employees breathing solvent, dissolver, vapors. Suitable ventilating systems should exist in the places where painting is done. Solvent vapors accumulate on the ground as they are heavier than air. Therefore, the basement and ground floors, which are more difficult to ventilate, shouldn't be used as a paint store. Ventilating the workplace must be carried out by considering this situation. Ventilating systems should be operated as long as painting is carried out, and its periodical checks must be done. In order to be able to extinguish the hazard of explosion, ventilating systems must be established in the workplaces which can dilute the solvent vapors in the way to be less than 25% of the lower explosion limit (LEL). In the workplaces where the hot parts are painted, water-based paints should be preferred, since the solvents touching the hot surface in the paint are evaporated in a short time. It constitutes higher hazard in terms of employees. In such circumstances, using the water base prevents the employees to breathe the harmful vapors. The employees working in the workplaces where painting is performed continuously are exposed to solvent vapor for long periods. In cases ventilating system is insufficient, rotation should be carried out amongst the employees in order to shorten the breathing period of the employees. The respiratory tract of the employee who applies painting, his skin and eyes can damage from solvent vapor, corrosive chemicals, and harmful paint additive agents. In cases this harm can't be prevented, the employee should get used the personnel protective equipment like rubber gloves, long sleeve overall, glasses, and mask. In the areas where paint materials are stored, arrangement must be done considering the safety information forms of the materials. While painting, the materials to be used should be taken from the store as sufficient as to be used. Thus, the bigness of a possible fire will have been decreased. This solution can also be thought as a measure against the pouring. The pieces of paint must be collected, and the chain, ropes, and the lifting vehicles belonging to them in the workplaces where painting operation is carried out should be controlled periodically. The chains and ropes which got old and deformed must be replaced. Paints should be kept in the containers made of the convenient materials against leakage and pour, which are leak-proof and suitable to the content of paint. Containers should be labeled in the way they show the matter inside and its dangers. In order to use in cases of leakage and pour, the sucker materials like lime, sand must be ready in the workplace. Having an eye shower in the workplace to be used in case of paint splashing in the eyes of employees will be helpful for early intervention.